Well, this week we have been looking at the issue of port security. Concerns, of course, ramped up after U.S. President-elect Donald Trump threatened to impose some hefty tariffs on both Canada and Mexico if it didn't take care of its borders. Now, Canada, if Canada doesn't do its part, rather, to stem the flow of drugs across the border. We have had a former Attorney General and an RCMP officer on our program, or an RCMP official, a former officer, both pointing to stepped-up port security as an obvious first step to crack down on illicit drug shipments at the ports. Well, crime reporter Kim Bolan has been covering the intersection of ports and organized crime for years, and she has been good enough to join us this morning. Good morning to you, Kim.
Good morning, Stephen. Thanks for having me.
Oh, thanks for taking the time with us. Before we get into the question of port security, can you just paint us a picture of the scope of drug manufacturing here in BC? We tend to think that Canada is not a major exporter of drugs like fentanyl. Is that the case?
Well, it was once the case, but it is no longer the case. The RCMP federally announced out of Ottawa in November of 2023 that we are now an export country, and they believe that methamphetamine in particular, but also fentanyl, were being manufactured in Canada to be shipped to other countries, particularly Southeast Asia, Australia, and New Zealand, which are the big markets for BC drugs in particular.
And do we know how much of it is destined for the United States? I mean, in this effort by Donald Trump to stem the flow of drugs into the United States, does Canada play any significant role?
I don't think Canada plays any significant role. The data that is available based on seizures shows a very small amount going from Canada into the United States. However, the manufacturing of illicit drugs here in Canada has been expanding over the last year.
Right.
So, these guys are very entrepreneurial and they will take any market they can get. You have to remember that, we were the champions of BC Bud back in the day, and a lot of local guys got their start literally running across the border with hockey bags filled with marijuana. And they started bringing cocaine back into Canada that they were getting in exchange, right? So a lot of people that are now big BC players internationally got their start in the Fraser Valley.